Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen, Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, on this fabulous Friday for what is going to be another jam-packed daily cryptocurrency market update. And this indeed is going to be a jam-packed one. We've got the SEC getting sued by CONSENSYS. We had a warning in regards to crypto put out there by the FBI. And we've got a very big day in regards to economic data ahead of us with PCEs, core PCEs, which is the Fed's preferred inflationary metric coming out later today. So we're going to be trying to cover that all. As always, guys, if you are new to this channel and finding yourself on my videos for the first time today, don't forget to check out that subscribe button because we drop an update just like this one around 1 p.m. UK time every single day to help you guys stay up to date with the latest and greatest things happening within the crypto space, but also the broader markets. It's exactly what we intend on doing in this video. And let's not waste any more time. Let's dive straight into it. I'm wishing you all a happy Friday. Hopefully you've got a great weekend ahead of you. We've got lots of content to push out this weekend, certainly in regards to a certain altcoin that has come under some serious heat over the past couple of days. We're going to be revealing a lot in regards to that, so do watch out for all of that. But I digress. Let's start things off with what's taken place over the past 24 hours, and we're going straight over to Paul Greenwald's Twitter. Now, Paul Greenwald is the Chief Legal Officer of Coinbase. So he is at loggerheads with the SEC as we speak. We know the SEC has gone after Coinbase and Binance and many companies out there, including CONSENSYS, which is one of the kind of software companies behind Ethereum. Joseph Lubin is a part of it, a very early, one of the earliest Ethereum kind of developers, if you will. But Paul has tweeted, and we're going to get onto the actual news in just a second, hearing it from the horse's mouth, i.e. CONSENSYS. I know Ethereum is a commodity. You know Ethereum is a commodity. The CFTC knows Ethereum is a commodity. It's time for the SEC to admit that it still knows Ethereum is a commodity too. No more games. Thank you to CONSENSYS for standing up against the SEC's unlawful expansion of authorities. And just today, CONSENSYS filed a lawsuit against the Securities and Exchange Commission. So why have they done this? Well, CONSENSYS, I believe, was it the 10th of April? It was only this month, actually. CONSENSYS got hit with a Wells notice letting them know that the SEC was essentially going to come after them. So this is in response to that. The SEC very much claiming that Ethereum is a security, or it seems that way. So they've not come out and actually officially said this, but they've done things like we saw Prometheum, which is their kind of like bulldog, if you will, their little pet, come out and almost imply also that Ethereum is a security. And they're the only people that have a special purpose broker-dealer license. We've covered that previously. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But this is essentially in response to the SEC claiming that Ethereum is a security and going after CONSENSYS. So they're doing this for one of two reasons, or two of two reasons. Obviously for Ethereum, of course, because it's the beating heart of their business, and for their own business and their own sakes, which is fine. So the goal behind this is to ensure that Ethereum remains a vibrant and indispensable blockchain platform and to preserve access for the countless developers, market participants, and institutions who have a stake in the world's second largest blockchain. We took this step for two very basic reasons. So they're going to give you their own reasons. The SEC should not be allowed to arbitrarily expand its jurisdiction to include regulating the future of the internet by wrongly labeling Ethereum a security, and the SEC's reckless approach is bringing chaos to developers, market participants, institutions, and nations who are building or already managing critical infrastructure on Ethereum. So it's true. By the way, a side note very quickly, we're going to talk about this point, and I truly believe this. You are going to get an Ethereum ETF. You will, and we will, as the cryptocurrency space, get over this hump of regulatory clarity. The regulations in the US, you're not going to get around them, okay? But if Ethereum, just like Bitcoin, was any threat to the international banking cartel that pull the strings around the world, they would have taken it out by now. And I always get the comment, well, how could they possibly do that? Trust me. If the US government, and we've seen people try, I don't want to mention any specific cases, but you can just Google it, try and move away from the US dollar dominance and come up with their own currencies. They've met a very quick end. So I think that this is just stalling. The SEC are getting their behind handed to them. We had two SEC lawyers just this week actually resign because they were going to get fired for their gross misconduct in regards to the debt box case. They were lying, basically. And the SEC continues to... I've never seen the SEC get so battered as I have in regards to the crypto space. The SEC usually win. They've got a ridiculously good win rate in regards to the cases that they bring forward. That's not been the case in crypto, actually. And the reason the SEC obviously win because they've got an unlimited resource, whereas they're going after companies that they know they can cripple even in just fighting the case. So in many cases, they just roll over. It's kind of like going up against the feds in, America. They've got a ridiculously high win rate. They're not like the kind of standard police out there that will just go and bust you. They'll sit on something, they'll build a case, and then they'll basically, drag it out for as long as it needs to kind of pound you into submission. The SEC is very similar. So this is why they're taking the steps. I do think, just like with people looking at the Federal Reserve and saying, oh, what idiots, look at all the money they're printing and how they're proliferating the currency. It's deliberate, guys. This is deliberate. They're deliberately stalling the cryptocurrency space right now. And it always amazes me. Do people actually think that Gary Gensler got that job for any other reason than he was teaching at MIT? He's always been that way inclined in regards to perhaps his political agenda, maybe, or furthering the political agenda. But he taught blockchain at one of the most prestigious universities in the world. He's not an idiot. He knows what he's doing. They know what they're doing. And the important thing for me and for you guys is to see the wood through the trees in this. But let's read on. I'm really digressing here. Ethereum isn't just about information being permissionless. It's about human ingenuity being permissionless. We encourage others who feel equally aggrieved by the SEC's aggressive regulatory action to make their voices heard. I also encourage that, by the way. At CONSENSYS, we believe that advancing adoption of blockchain platforms like Ethereum will help reshape and enhance how our future generations will manage economic, financial, social, political, and technological systems, creating a more equitable and transparent and innovative world. Our mission is now under threat from an ideological-driven regulator, the SEC. It's more than that. There's a motive there with the SEC. It's a land grab, basically. They're seeing what they can get. They're trying the water. They're testing the water. If they get more things under their jurisdiction, they get more funding. That's what this is all about. It's all about their agency. It's not about protecting you guys, by the way. Get that out your head, right? We do need, in some cases, regulations. But what they do is they use a case like, I believe FTX was a total Trojan horse. Look who was rubbing shoulders up against. Why did the SEC not go after him? What, you think they didn't know what was going on? Maybe it's because he was funding a lot of the campaigns out there. Political campaigns. He's one of the biggest contributors to some of them, actually. They used him to give them jurisdiction and say, right, it's time to get these nasty, when it was a bad act that they enabled. I really do apologize for keeping going on the rants here, but this is something I feel passionate about, and I'm going to call bullshit out when I see it. So we have time and time again witnessed the current SEC's contradicting itself with ever-changing views on blockchain, consistently mischaracterizing this technology and what is built on it as a shallow and doomed investment scheme rather than a breakthrough technology. It is, and it's time the industry stood up for itself. Our action today is intended to protect the Ethereum ecosystem as well as the entirety of the extended decentralized protocol ecosystem. For more information, go over to this link. So this is, I think, good news. I think all this does get resolved. It's going to take a while. I do think you will have an Ethereum ETF. They've not just denied it, they're just delaying it. Again, I just think they're seeing what they can get. So SEC seeks to regulate Ethereum as a security, CONSENSYS alleges in a lawsuit. They talk about a number of things. They bring up Hinman again. In August 2021, within months of becoming SEC chairman, so on and so forth. Talks about double standards. You can see the Hinman things here. On the 10th of April, the SEC staff sent CONSENSYS a Wells notice stating its intent to imminently recommend that the commission brings an enforcement action against CONSENSYS for voting for violating the federal securities law through its MetaMask swap and MetaMask staking products. So MetaMask is a part of this. Where are we? SEC has accused MetaMask of acting as an unlicensed broker-dealer. Okay. They've also gone after Uniswap. They're going after everyone. Like I say, this is a power grab. They're literally putting their, those little games that you play where you've got the arm and it comes down and grabs the toys. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to grab whatever they can. But I think they're going to lose this. You can see people really hating on CONSENSYS for the sale of Ethereum. Most people have funded themselves at some point with their own token. And is that a little bit contradictory? You can actually see where that walks a very not so straight line in regards to using things in some cases as how securities have been used. But does that warrant them as securities? I'm not convinced. Also, told you this was a jam-packed one. We have the FBI. FBI warns Americans against using non-KYC Bitcoin and crypto money transmitting services. Public service announcement from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The FBI warns Americans against using cryptocurrency money transmitting services that are not registered as money service businesses, according to the United States federal law, and do not adhere to anti-money laundering requirements. A few simple steps can prevent unintentional use of non-compliant services. For example, avoid cryptocurrency money transmitting services that do not collect know your customer KYC information from customers when required. MSB registration. The FBI has recently conducted law enforcement operations against cryptocurrency services which were not licensed in accordance with federal law. People who use unlicensed cryptocurrency money laundering transactions may encounter financial disruption during law enforcement actions, especially if their cryptocurrencies is intermingled with funds obtained through illegal means. So they're basically saying if they confiscate funds off an exchange and they're yours, they don't care. Risky services, cryptocurrency money transmitting services that purposely break the law or knowingly facilitate illegal transactions will be investigated by law enforcement. Using a service that does not comply with legal obligations may put you at risk of losing access to your funds after law enforcement operations target those businesses. Oh, what a day, what a 24 hours. Not to mention everything else that's been going on in the crypto space. And it's been a crazy couple of weeks, obviously with what took place geopolitically with Iran and Israel, and then all into this. My job's very easy. I love this space. It's always filled with something to talk about. There's always stuff going on, and we just try and report on it. Let's sort of come on to Bitcoin. It's just stalling, and it's in a broader uptrend, and I do think it's going to that 151,000, just like we thought it was going to 41, 42,000, all the way down here. This is an uptrend. We're still looking at the total too. We think this is just forming its right shoulder, and you could see this market get to $3.7 trillion. On that note, do not buy or sell anything based on what I say. I want to make this abundantly clear. It doesn't bother me whether people buy or sell their crypto. I don't profit from it. I'm very transparent with how I do benefit. I have a Patreon of people and, of course, content. Let's take a look at what's taking place today. So today we have core PCEs, which is going to be pretty interesting because core PCEs are the Fed's preferred inflationary metric. We know what's plaguing risk generally right now. You've got a strong dollar. It's coming on the back end of really inflation more broadly going sideways, but oil certainly going up, which is worrying people. People are now talking about we've gone from rate cuts to potential rate hikes. Inflation is going to be key to watch. We had a lot worse than expected GDPs yesterday. What were the GDPs actually yesterday? 1.6 was it? Yeah, 1.66 recession was a 2.4. So it shows a lesser strong economy than what was originally portrayed. That gives them a little bit less room to hike, but with inflation where it's at, certainly doesn't give them warrant them to cut. But with inflation, CPI is only one metric. Core PCEs are their preferred metric. We'll see what comes in. The consensus for this is 2.6. I think 2.6, 2.7. That's a continued downtrend in inflation. It paints a little bit of a better picture, certainly given their target is at 2%. And this was, where was this at its height? 5.5%. So inflation is still ticking down. You are going to have periods of sideways inflation. And, you know, this is a downtrend still more broadly, and we're not that worried about inflation. Of course, this is all affecting rate prices, which is affecting the dollar, which is leading on risk, and Bitcoin really just a higher beta play of risk. So this is May, no cut coming in May. We did have some pricing for June. It's now very likely that there's not going to be a cut. July also, I think September's when the probabilities are now we're going to get a cut. And then as we sort of move down, more cuts coming in, potentially on the back end of the year. But it's all still to watch. Again, any change in that, certainly a bolstering of a lack of cuts, bolsters the dollar, bolsters yields, leans on risk. And that's simply what's going on when you sort of break down the mechanical levers behind the markets. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all from me. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Have a fantastic Friday, and I'll catch you all in the next one.